In a quiet village, hidden deep within the forest, there is a river no one dares to visit at night. Not because it is dangerous, not because of wild animals, but because of something far worse. Because the moment that river calls your name, you don't come back. The villagers call it the River of Echoes. By day, it looks peaceful, almost beautiful. The water is clear, flowing gently over smooth stones. Birds gather at its edge. Children laugh and play nearby. Women fetch water in clay pots, and fishermen cast their nets without fear. It looks like any other river, but when the sun begins to set, everything changes. The laughter fades, the birds disappear, the air becomes still, heavy, almost watching, and one by one, the villagers leave. No one goes near the river after dark, no one, and no one dares to speak about why, because, deep down, everyone knows the truth. The river listens, and sometimes it speaks. Many years ago, before fear took over the village, life was normal. The river was part of their daily lives. It gave them water, food, and peace. Until the first voice was heard. It was an old man named Kofi. He lived alone at the edge of the village. People said he was quiet, but wise. He spent most of his evenings sitting near the river, watching the water flow. One night, long after everyone had gone home, Kofi returned to the village trembling. He claimed that something had called his name, not loudly, not like a shout, but softly, gently, like someone who knew him. Kofi. At first, the villagers laughed. They said he was imagining things, that old age was playing tricks on his mind. But Kofi insisted. He said the voice came from the water, and it sounded familiar. That night, no one took him seriously. But the next morning, Kofi was gone. His house was empty. His walking stick still leaned against the wall. His sandals remained by the door. There were no signs of struggle, no footprints leading away. It was as if he had simply vanished. Days passed, then weeks. No one found him, and slowly the laughter stopped. Fear began to grow. Then it happened again. This time it was a young woman named Amina. She had stayed late at the market and was returning home as the sun was setting. The path she took led close to the river. When she arrived home, she was shaken. Her hands trembled. Her voice was unsteady. She told her friend, "I heard my name, clear as day, like someone was standing behind me. Marie!"
Her friend tried to calm her. "It's nothing," she said. "You're just tired." Amina tried to believe her, but that night, Amina disappeared too. No sound, no struggle, just gone. Now the village was no longer laughing. Panic spread. People began to whisper, "It's the river." One by one, more people vanished. A hunter, a child, a farmer. Each story was the same. "I heard my name." That was always the last thing they said. Until the village elders could no longer ignore it, they gathered beneath the great tree at the center of the village, and there they made a decision that would change everything. From that day forward, no one was allowed near the river after sunset, and if anyone ever heard their name, they must never answer. Never. Years passed. The rule became law. Children grew up hearing the stories. Fear became part of their lives. But not everyone believed. There was a young man named Tamba. Tamba was different. He was known for his courage and his stubbornness. While others avoided the river, Tamba would walk near it during the day without fear. While others whispered about spirits, Tamba laughed. To be afraid of water, he would say. That makes no sense. Tamba lived with his mother, a quiet woman who had already lost too much in her life. She had seen the disappearances. She believed the stories, and she feared for her son. One evening, as Tamba prepared to leave the house, she stopped him. "Stay away from the river," she warned. But Tamba smiled. "Nothing is there," he replied. She grabbed his arm. "I'm serious, Tamba. That river is not normal." But he gently pulled away. "I'll be fine." That night, something inside him had already made the decision. He would go to the river, not just during the day, but at night. He wanted to prove everyone wrong. He wanted to show the village that fear had blinded them. As the sun began to sink below the trees, Tamba walked toward the river. A few villagers saw him. They called out to him, "Don't go." But he didn't stop. By the time he reached the riverbank, darkness had already fallen. The air felt different, colder, still. Even the sound of insects had faded. The river flowed slowly, too slowly, almost as if it were alive, watching him. Tamba stood there, waiting. Nothing happened. Minutes passed. He laughed quietly. "You see," he said to himself, "just stories." He turned to leave, and that's when he heard it. Soft, faint, almost like the wind brushing against his ears. "Tamba." He froze. His heart began to pound. Slowly, he turned back. The river looked the same, but something felt wrong. Then the voice came again, clearer, closer. "Tamba." This time, there was no doubt. It was real. Something was calling him. His mind told him to run, but his body refused to move. The voice sounded familiar, comforting, like someone he trusted. "Tamba, come closer." The water rippled gently, inviting him, calling him. Step by step, he moved forward. His breathing grew heavier, his thoughts blurred, until he stood at the very edge of the river. The voice whispered again, "Answer me." And without thinking, without remembering the warnings, Tamba replied, "Yes." For a moment, everything went silent. Then suddenly, the river exploded. The water surged violently, wrapping around his legs, pulling him forward. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. His body was dragged into the water as if something beneath the surface had grabbed him, and within seconds, Tamba was gone. The next morning, the village searched for him. They found nothing. No footprints, no struggle, no body. Only the river, calm, silent, as if nothing had happened. His mother waited at the door all day and all night, calling his name, but he never returned. Then, that same night, as the village slept, a sound drifted through the darkness, soft, familiar. "Mama." It was Tamba's voice, coming from the river. Her mother froze. Tears filled her eyes. She took a step toward the door, then another. The voice came again. "Mama, come." But this time, she remembered the warning. She fell to her knees, covering her ears, crying, because now she understood. The river doesn't just take you, it becomes you. And now, it knows every name. So if you ever find yourself near a quiet river and you hear your name being called, don't answer, no matter how familiar it sounds, because some voices are not meant to be heard.